Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So, we hear about AI breakthroughs every single day, right? But behind all that amazing software, there's a world of very real, very physical hardware. And it turns out one single company, a company you've probably never heard of, is building the essential tools that make pretty much all of it possible.
Think about it this way. If the AI boom is the new gold rush, who's selling all the picks and shovels? Well, I'll bet it's not who you think. It's not one of the big tech names you know. It's actually one of the most important, most powerful companies in the world, and we're about to dive in and find out exactly who they are.
So to really get why this one company is so powerful, we first have to understand the sheer scale of this AI gold rush. I mean, we are living through a massive technological shift right now.
Every single piece of AI, from the chatbot on your phone to the complex systems in self-driving cars, it all runs on computer chips. But we're not talking about just any chips. Oh no. The AI revolution needs hardware that is mind-bogglingly powerful and complex. And the demand for it, it's just exploding.
And this insatiable, ravenous demand for chips, well, it leads us directly to the company sitting at the very heart of this hardware revolution. The one selling all the shovels.
That company is ASML. They're based in the Netherlands, in Europe. Now, you're not going to find their logo stamped on your phone or your computer, but their technology, it's almost certainly inside. They're the quiet giant, the hidden engine powering our entire digital world.
So what is their secret sauce? What do they do that's so special? Well, they've basically perfected this process called EUV photolithography. Okay, that's a mouthful, I know. But in simple terms, just think of it like a ridiculously advanced printing press. It uses a special extreme ultraviolet light to etch these microscopic, impossibly intricate patterns onto silicon. And those patterns? They become the circuits inside the most powerful microchips on Earth.
Okay, here's the kicker. This is where their power becomes crystal clear. ASML isn't just the best at making these incredible EUV machines, they are the only company in the world that can do it. This isn't just a market lead, it's a complete and total monopoly on the single most critical tool for making modern chips. If you want to build a state-of-the-art chip factory, you have to call ASML, period. There is no plan B.
And who's lining up to buy these things? Oh, you know, just the absolute titans of the industry. Every single major player, Intel, TSMC, Samsung, they all completely depend on ASML's machines for their most advanced products. Without ASML, their multi-billion-dollar factories just can't compete.
So, having a global monopoly on a technology that literally everyone wants sounds pretty good for business, right? You bet it is. Let's dive into the numbers and run a quick financial health check to see just how ridiculously strong this company really is.
We'll keep it simple. We're going to look at three things. First, can it pay its bills right now? Second, what's its long-term risk of going under? And third, maybe most importantly, how good is it at actually making money?
Let's start with that long-term risk. There's a really cool metric called the Altman Z-score that predicts the chance of a company going bankrupt. For this score, anything above 3.0 is considered very, very safe. ASML's score? It's 7.25. That is just off the charts stable. It tells you the company is built on an exceptionally solid foundation.
And the rest of the numbers tell the exact same story. That current ratio means it has plenty of cash on hand to cover its bills. Its debt levels are super low. But this last one? This is my favorite. It makes so much cash that it could pay off all of its debt in about 6 months. That's not just financial health. That's a financial fortress.
All right, now for profitability. And wow, just look at this number. A return on equity of around 58%. Now, to give you some perspective, an ROE of maybe 15–20% is considered really good. So 58, that is the sign of an absolute, undisputed, cash-generating machine.
So what a high ROE like this really screams is that the company's management is just unbelievably good at turning every dollar shareholders give them into pure profit. It's the financial fingerprint of a company with an insane competitive advantage. In this case, their monopoly.
Okay. So a company this profitable? You gotta wonder, are they sharing that success with their investors? Let's switch gears and take a look at their dividend story. And what we see here is just a thing of beauty. It's the perfect combination. Look at the right bar. The dividend has been growing at a blistering 23% per year. That's incredibly fast. But now look at the left bar.
It's doing that while paying out only 22% of its profits. That is the absolute sweet spot. High growth that is also super safe and sustainable.
All right, so we've established ASML is a monopolist with absolutely stellar financials. It sounds like a slam dunk, right? A total no-brainer. But, the future is never quite that simple. We need to look at the competing forces, the hopes and the hurdles that are going to shape ASML's road ahead.
On the sunny side, the bull case is really strong. That AI demand is just going to keep skyrocketing. Being a European company actually helps it navigate some of the tricky US trade tariffs. And it's not resting on its laurels either. It's pouring $200 million into its US facilities. And this is all built on a foundation of just massive revenue and profit.
But, and there's always a but, isn't there? There are some pretty significant hurdles. Because its technology is so vital, ASML is caught right in the middle of this geopolitical chess match between world powers. That is a huge and totally unpredictable risk. There's also some uncertainty about what it can charge for these machines in the future, and its revenue outlook for a few years down the line, around 2026, is a bit murky.
And you can actually see that uncertainty we just talked about right here in this table. Look at the 1-month-out forecast. The price range is pretty tight. But then as you look further into the future, 6 months, 12 months, look at how much wider that potential range gets. That's risk, visualized. It shows just how cloudy that long-term view can be.
This quote from the analysis really just nails it, doesn't it? The company itself is a fortress. It has incredibly strong fundamentals and that near monopoly. But it has to operate in our very complex and messy world. And those big external storms, the economy, geopolitics, they create a fog that makes the immediate future hard to see.
So, after all this, we're left with a really fascinating question. We've seen a company that holds the keys to the entire tech kingdom. It makes you wonder, in this age of AI and insane acceleration, who holds the real power? Is it the people who come up with the brilliant ideas? Or is it the quiet, hidden company that builds the one essential tool they all have to use? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.